There was a point on this planet's existence where the call of nature dictated its every move before man's artificial embrace. Now, we must set rules in place in order to protect microbiological life on other planets. First, we must look into our past here on Earth in order to protect life abroad. Secondly, it must be concise as a definition, allowing a measure of growth with our eventual habitation. Thirdly, if this becomes law, we can use this as an incentive for growth within our own planet. Next up is looking up into our past. For example, the Moon Treaty of 1979 states, determined to promote, on the basis of equality, the further development of cooperation among states in the exploration and use of the Moon and other celestial bodies. In addition to this, Article 2 of the treaty states, international cooperation and mutual understanding and with due regard to corresponding interests of all other state parties. By using these examples, we can work together or at least expand on the Moon Treaty. Next up is a reminder on the clarity and definition of the law. It should be simple and flexible with the future growth of technology in our society. For example, as stated in the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea states, coastal states exercise sovereignty over their territorial sea, which they have a right to establish to its breadth up to a limit not to exceed 12 nautical miles. Foreign vessels are allowed innocent passage through these waters. In order for protection of life on other planets to be followed, it must be clear in its ruling, simplify its definition so that nothing gets lost in its interpretation. If we take action today, it will influence others in doing the same. Just like with this debate, it is the development of the changing of times with new avenues of information and technology we have available. If this were to become international law of Earth, we can use this as a centerpiece for change on our own planet. According to Henry David Thoreau, the value of any experience is measured, of course, not by the amount of money, but by the amount of development we get out of this. Such is this debate vying for or against the creation of international law. Let us not be demoralized by inaction. For example, according to Thoreau, the power of movement. Individuals who have thrown themselves into public life with enthusiasm return to private life in a degree of disgust proportional to the effort that the amount they expended. From what we have learned from our past, we can use this knowledge in order to save our planet, so that future generations can be able to look back on the beauty, progress, and nature of Earth and abroad. With that being said, we can possibly coexist with nature and still advance to new heights as a civilization and in places far away. From what has been discussed, it is time for a recap. I have discussed points of reference in detail in this new law. I've argued that just like with some laws here on Earth, it should be simple in its definition and not lost in its translation. Whatever happens, this can be used as an educational experience for this generation of laws and beyond. Thank you.